Let's look at let's break down the War Games card. Let's do an early preview here on Tuesday of the War Games card. Let's start with Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey. Well, I am a fan of Shotzi. I know that I am in the minority when I talk about Shotzi. I see it. Like the minute I post something, there is a pushback against like this idea that Shotzi's just terrible. And the same way I get pushback on being a huge Britt Baker fan, I get pushback on being a huge Shotzi fan. And I can recognize that, right? I'm allowed to like who I like, but I can also recognize in a point in time where even like casual fans are against my ideas. So I don't have high expectations for this match. Best case scenario is this match just outperforms most people's expectations and we walk away with a good taste in our mouth, right? They don't completely shit the bed and we don't walk away going, that was a train wreck. That's best case scenario for that match. So I don't think you can't lay expectations on that match of that carrying the show. Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory. I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. Good luck booking your way out of this match. Someone's got to come out on top and someone's got to take a pin. And if you're planning on ending this one by disqualification, you're just scapegoating yourself out of this, man. How do we end up in a time where WWE is trying to develop and needs main event stars? How do we end up with the 3 biggest male stars on Monday Night Raw that are not named Kevin Owens in one match where you are going to wound one guy coming out of this match? And it's what scares me is it's more than likely it's going to be Seth Rollins or Bobby Lashley. And I mean, Seth Rollins has taken his fair share of L's this year. He doesn't need any more L's. Maybe it's Theory. How do you book this match? How do you? I can't even begin to imagine how you book this match. Then let's talk about Finn Balor and AJ Styles, because to me, this is actually one of the best booked matches on the card. I don't love that it's not actually Judgment Day versus the OC, because I feel like Damian Priest has just literally been lost in the shuffle. He's an NPC in Finn Balor's story at this point. That's what he feels like. Damian Priest feels like an NPC of the Judgment Day. Like Dominic has his weird little Dennis the Menace thing. Rhea has her like she's super interesting because she's a girl who can fight the boys and also, kind of clever and been good on a microphone. Finn is just Finn, and Finn is good at what he does. And then you have kind of Damian Priest, NPC. But this match, at least there's been build up, right? There's been build up. Now, once again, I don't love the idea that Rhea Ripley and Mia Yim are off having to do their thing in a different match. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but at least there's been enough story that this match can hold up on its own. So now we get into some War Games here, because right now we got 5 matches, guys. That's what we got. And we got to assume that the War Games matches are going to be time heavy. They are going to lean into these matches to sell the show. So you get Team Bianca versus Team Damage Control, right? What happens when that bell rings? Who knows? Because we did see that Rhea Ripley got the what do you call it? The control. They got the advantage, the numbers advantage for the War Games match. The things I'm looking for in this match that I'm hoping to see is Alexa Bliss break free of whatever funk that she's in right now. We didn't get any Bray Wyatt teases today, which is weird, right? Just all of a sudden, we're not talking about that anymore. Just random flashes of Bray Wyatt insignia behind her. And then today, nothing. No mention of it. We're just not booking that way today. I'm sure Rhea Ripley's going to have some big moments. I'm sure this is going to be a match that really features Rhea Ripley. I think she probably gets the final pin. She probably wins. Look for Bianca to do Bianca. Like at this point, I am a Bianca Belair fan, but she's stale. They've got to break her out of this like character trope, super positivity, captain positivity gimmick that she has going on. She's got to show, like, one problem I have with Bianca Belair is no matter what is happening, no matter what Bayley is doing, no matter if Rhea Ripley wins the advantage, Bianca Belair's still smiling. She never looks worried. And worried, it's an emotion that it's baby faces need to be able. John Cena did it well. John Cena was always able to portray and turn himself back into the underdog. Bianca always looks confident, and I get like protruding this positive attitude. That's great, but at some point you have to find some range of emotion. Because I've talked about it. Bianca's great at being the underdog, but I think she's outgrown the ability to just be a natural underdog. So you have to start to create that situation yourself. It's time for Bianca to learn to lean into the idea that you can't smile about everything. Some things have to bother you. Rhea Ripley winning that match and you losing the numbers advantage, hands on the head, extreme worry. Like, what are we going to do? Frustration. She's not showing those range of emotion yet. And I'm afraid that Bianca Belair may just be the ultimate underdog and just not a front runner. She just doesn't know how to front run, and somebody needs to sit her down and explain to her, you've got to make it look like you could lose. She almost needs a depression phase. Most wrestlers, like we've seen Becky Lynch go through a depression phase, and I think it builds character. We've seen Charlotte and them go through depression phases. We saw John Cena go through a depression phase. These phases where it all looks like everything's going to hell. And I get you have to book Bianca super strong because they're trying to build a John Cena character, but I think the problem is we're getting into that area of like Roman Reigns prior to head of the table where it almost feels like they're not going to let us fall in love with Bianca anymore. They're going to tell us we have to fall in love with Bianca. And that's when crowds start to push back. I would have liked to have seen in booking this match, Bianca not be able to find the fifth partner. For her to look around and her to struggle. She should have had to have really like laid into Mia Yim and like, I need you, and people to be like, we don't know why we should join you. And then that fifth partner should have been up in the air until SmackDown. And then you could have, or even up until Survivor Series War Games, and have it happen like organically. Have her look worried. Have her go into that match one man down. I think that would have been more beneficial. I would have liked to have seen it booked with her at a disadvantage instead of they continue to book her with this aura of confidence that no matter what she's up against, she'll overcome it. And it makes for a little bit of boring storytelling, to be honest. And then last, we have the Brutes versus the Bloodline, which once again, the main event is going to save this show. And with Roman Reigns, you know that's the main event. Roman's on the card. It's the last match of the night. We don't have to worry about that. And it's going to save the show. That's going to be match of the night. It's going to be epic. The amount of talent that is in that ring at once, you're going to get some crazy matchups, right? You're going to get to see Kevin Owens and Solo. You're going to get to see Kevin and Sammy. You get to see Drew and Roman. Everybody wants a shot at Roman, right? Sheamus, Drew, all of these guys. You're going to get to see Butch go crazy. Like, this has all the writings of a classic match. I have zero worry, and this is going to save the show. But this is becoming a little bit of a trope for Triple H here. It's becoming a little bit of his MO, is that I think he knows he can rely heavily on the main events. He can rely on Logan and Roman. Why I still think Clash of the Castle was good. If you look, Drew and Roman made sure that the rest of that show, it's MMA style booking. It's UFC style booking, right? If we book a good main event, the undercard isn't as important. And I think that's dangerous in pro wrestling. I think Triple H is going to have to flush out these cards, these premium live event cards a little more, because I think while I caught on early, I think there are still people subscribing to the Church of Triple H. But I think like if this doesn't go well, you can see more people jumping off the boat and swimming over to my ship and saying, all right, we see what you were talking about. Last thing is, do we get some form of Bray Wyatt match? I guess on SmackDown, there's still time to book that. But it feels like at this point, Bray Wyatt is another crutch that Triple H can lean on, because just the entrance alone is enough to appease a lot of the crowd. And letting him come out and talk is enough that a lot of the crowd feels an appetite for that like sports entertainment. I think that's what Bray does well. Is it rushed? Like if we jump right in and we do this LA Knight thing, is that not, it does feel a little rushed. So I'm assuming we get more of a Bray Wyatt moment rather than a Bray Wyatt match, but who knows at this point? Like it could be, at this point, it could be anything.